Channel. This video I'm going to be showing you how I make some saltfish and callaloo from scratch. I got some onions, tomatoes, and garlic just chopped up here. I got another set of tomato, onion, and garlic here that I'm going to be using for my saltfish. This is for my saltfish. This is for my callaloo. I got a mixture here of flour and cornmeal that I'm going to be using to make some festival. So I have a video for this on my YouTube channel, so make sure you tap the description box and you'll see the link for that recipe. So let's get started by boiling our saltfish. This is 12 ounces of saltfish. We're going to boil out the salt from it before we cook it. Putting some water in here. We're going to get this process started. So I threw off the water once, and now I'm switching out the water, and we're going to boil it again. So the first thing I'm going to do is gather up my callaloo in bunches. I like to wash it and then start chopping it up. So I'm going to take this bunch, I'm going to rinse it off. Okay, so here's our callaloo. It's been washed. The next thing you're going to do is hold it this way. Get yourself a big knife and just begin chopping it. I tend to take out these long stalks. They can be very bitter when you use too much of them. So I'll take out some of the leaves, take out most of them, and we're not going to cook this. So I got my mix here of festival. I'm just going to start adding a little water and kneading the dough. So here is our festival mound. You see how my hand can go like this without sticking? This is what your mound needs to look like. The dough is nice and soft. As you can see, let me give you a close-up. The dough is nice and soft. Let's turn it over on the other side. This is what your dough should look like. If you want to get dumpling or festival that is nice and smooth on the surface. There we go. Festival has been allowed to rise. We have some oil over here that I'm heating up. Our saltfish is on the fire over there boiling. And now I'm going to start frying these festival. So we've got our saltfish here. I boiled this out twice and I got rid of the salt in there. And just before I make the saltfish, I like to get a little taste of it. Just to make sure it's not too salty. All right, so let's get started on making our callaloo. I am going to begin by adding our ingredients here. The onion, tomato, and garlic. We're going to saute that for 2 to 3 minutes. So I added a teaspoon of black pepper here. Let me go get the all-purpose. Just half a tablespoon. Now we're just adding all our callaloo. Next, we're just going to add a half a cup of water to this, only to allow it to steam. Let's get our cover for about 10 minutes and then it'll be ready. All right, so these festivals are just about ready. Look at this. Look how nice and golden these festivals look. You see how nice and smooth the surface is? This is why I like to roll out the dough first. It gives you a nice, smooth surface to work with, and just aesthetically, it looks a lot nicer. So let's remove these festivals out of these oil and let's get to our saltfish. So I have some of the saltfish here. I shredded it up really fine, only because I'm going to be stuffing it inside the festival. Usually when I shred it, I don't shred it up so fine, but I just take a knife and just chop it, or you can just simply use your hands just like this to break up all of the saltfish. So we got our saltfish here, we got our onion, tomato, garlic, we got our oil heated up here, and we're going to just saute this now. Our onions and tomatoes and garlic. So I snuck in a little bit of tomato paste, and that's really my secret to gaining a nice flavor. Not a lot of people do that, and a lot of people aren't really aware of it, but tomato paste makes a good base for gravies. And if you don't have tomato paste, you could also just squirt a little bit of ketchup in there. I'm gonna get some thyme. You can even drop a Scotch bonnet pepper in there. But here we go. Look how nice that looks already. Let's get some thyme. Look how beautiful this looks. If you want to, you can drop a few drops of water in there, not too much, only because some people like to have a little bit of gravy. And let me show you what happens when you do that. So I'm going to tip just a little bit of water in there, just like that. And now you can see our dish has a little bit of depth to it. So I want to give you guys a look. Here is our callaloo. I'm just using a fork because it's a lot easier to fluff up. As you can see, we have about like half the amount that we started with. So callaloo is a little bit like spinach. You got to use a lot just to get a little bit. But here's a close-up. Smells amazing. I'm gonna leave that here. Show you how we got our saltfish going over here. Also, I got my festival here.
Mommy, are those dumplings?
So I put 4 dumplings on the plate and I laid them on the side, or I'm sorry, I should say festival. I laid them on the side. I'm just going to make a slit right here, right here, right here, and right here. So guys, here we have our final finished product, our Saltfish Stuffed Festival. We have our Callaloo, and I topped it off with some avocado on the side. Subscribe to my YouTube channel.